Hey everybody, I am Kurt Loosenort with the Smallegan team at Keller Williams, and I'm with two of my recent clients, Christian and Lexi. And it's always fun to get a little bit of backstory, but how did you guys first get connected with me as a realtor?
Well, Lexi over here found you on TikTok on the barn dominium you guys were selling, and that was something that intrigued us. So we reached out, seen what we could do, and we ended up not going that route, but we did end up finding our first home with you guys. So
I think that's great, and I always want to help as much as possible, but I also really appreciate self-starters who are looking into the process and learning things, especially when you're first-time home buyers, right? And you had also looked into lending, and I'm not going to say coincidentally, I'm going to give you some credit. You had found one of our favorite lenders, which is a huge step in getting set up for purchase. So that's for anybody considering buying soon. Getting the right lender makes a big difference. I know you two had some pretty specific things you were looking for in a property. And what were some of the things on your checklist, Lex?
I would say the biggest thing is location. We had very specific location that we wanted to be on property with acreage, pole barn, a house that wasn't really a first home for us, but more of like a house where we can grow a family and be there long term. So it's kind of hard to find that, but after seeing probably 10 houses, we found the one, and we knew it was the one when we saw it. So
yeah, a pole barn can be tough to find.
yeah,
And I know that was also a really big deal for you, right,
Yes,
Christian?
it
Tell
was.
us why. Why do you love pole barns?
it gives me my space to decompress, put all the toys, have my little oasis that I've always wanted. I've never had a big enough spot per se to house everything. I was maxing out my father's garage, and I still didn't have everything in there. So
And you had some idea what it would cost to build a pole barn versus to buy one that was already there, even if it needed some fixing up or customization.
it was a hefty tab if I wanted to do one just from the ground up. So finding one that was already built was huge for us. So
And you did know right away. Like it was interesting because we saw several homes, but there was just, and I mean, can you even tell me exactly what it was? There was something about this place that you just said, this is the one. Was there anything in particular other than what we talked about?
I think it just checked all of our boxes, was the right location, and it felt like home to us. There was some things that needed work, but that was expected with our first home. And so just planning Pinterest, we were like, this is perfect. We can make the bathroom, it's the right size. It was on an acre, which we love, the right pole barn, garage, just every box was checked. We knew.
And I really like that because people should have a checklist.
Yeah.
If they want to start shopping, like I want to know what the key features are, what's most important to them. And yet there is something indefinable about a particular home. You walk in and you just say, even if it doesn't check every box, like sometimes it doesn't, but you just say, this feels right. And that's so important to me because it takes a lot to buy a house. It takes a lot to fix up a house, to own a house. And if it's not somewhere you really want to come home to, much less have a vision for what you're going to do, it's not always worth it. You can take your time and find the right one. But, and we said a few times as we were going through the process that if everything was as simple and straightforward as we wished it could be, I wouldn't actually have that much to do. And this one, to be fair, it wasn't as simple and straightforward as we wanted it to be.
No.
But tell me how, this happens regularly. This is a big part of our job, is having to solve problems and negotiate. How did that feel for you going through that whole process when things started to go a bit sideways or there were big issues to resolve or questions to answer? What was that experience like for you?
for me, I'm a problem solver. Just every day I got to figure it out. So when we had some issues arise, I wanted to figure out what the best solution was because me and Lex knew we wanted the place. Mm-hmm. We loved how it was. We knew we could make it our own, and it had the barn that I've always wanted. So it was a struggle at times, the phone calls and the back and forth with everything, but didn't expect it to be as lengthy as it was. But at the end of the day, we got it done. Mm-hmm. So that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing too was, even though things were stressful and we didn't want to lose this house, you had our back, Keller Williams had our back, and there were never any questions unanswered. We always knew at the end of the night, like anything in our head that we were worried about, we had an answer to. And we really liked that. And just being there for us, the biggest thing, because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know how things go with this. And so knowing that you were there every step of the way on our side was the biggest thing that helped, I would say.
The first time home buyer experience, you come in thinking you know a glimpse, you know nothing.
Yeah.
Until you go through it. So you guys helped a lot.
Good.
It did make those uneasy questions, those uneasy times throughout the process a lot easier. Especially you just answering whenever. Didn't matter what time of night it was, what day it was.
What state you were in.
Yeah, what state you were in or whatever. You were there, you answered the question, you made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that so much, because this is, in a lot of ways, it's going to be a vulnerable process.
Yep.
There's a lot at stake. It's a lot of money. It's going to be a home. It's very personal. Even when you're managing primarily logistics and negotiation and problem solving, like this is very personal because it's going to be your home. So we take that very seriously, and we know that we can't control everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that we can be there for our people, we can answer questions, we can solve problems, and that at the end of the day, you're going to be well taken care of, whichever direction we go. So that's huge. What else would you suggest for someone looking to purchase a home, especially if that's a first-time home buyer or someone who's looking for a fixer-upper or something to personalize?
I would say trust the process. When you know, and there will be houses that you'll see that don't end up working out for you, but there's always the next one. If it's meant to be, it'll be. There was another house we saw that we loved, a few things we didn't love, and losing that house, we were upset, but then it just led us to the house that was meant for us.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the renovations, just knowing it takes time, but you'll get there. And once you move in, everything will be how you wanted it to be. And sometimes you have to buy the fixer-upper. There's not going to be that perfect house with the perfect everything that you want. So
And
just
now
trusting
you get to
process.
personalize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Make it your dream home.
I guess for me, I would say have faith in your realtor, because they've done this, they've gone through it so many times. Don't walk into the first one thinking if you don't get it, it's all over. I did that very first house, thinking if I don't get it, it's all over. There are more options. You guys did a great job on finding things, helping us look. So go in. If it doesn't feel right, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Move on. You'll find something down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And something else that I appreciated about working with you too is you were always willing to say, hey, well, we can fix this. We can take care of this. We'll step up. And as much as I appreciate that, I also wanted to be clear to say, yeah, but that's not really how it works.
Yeah,
let us fix it first.
Yep.
Let us get, if other people are responsible, if there's some way to solve this that doesn't require your effort, let's do that first. Let us take care of it and pave the way. And then of course you can do whatever you want once it's your house. But I really enjoyed that. I'm so glad you guys are happy. And I know you're in process now. So at some point I would like to stop by and see all your progress and like what you come up with as a final product.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.